all the participants and members of the club. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Madras, I welcome you all to the seminar on food scenario, emerging prospects, organized in connection with the Food Fair 6. Now I request President Ramabhadran to offer bouquets to Mr. Swaminathan, IAS Secretary, Department of Food and Cooperation and Consumer Protection. And now to our popular district governor, Mr. C.S. Ramchandran. Now I would request President Ramabhadran to deliver his welcome address.
Good morning, everybody. Through A.M. Swaminathan, IAS Secretary, Department of Cooperation, Food and Consumer Protection, Government of Tamil Nadu, Rotary District Governor, Dr. C.S. Ramchandran, Rotarian D. Ramanathan, Chairman Food Fair Committee, Rotarian Ravi Krishna, Co-Chairman Food Fair Committee, distinguished speakers for the seminar, fellow Rotarians, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all this morning for the seminar on food scenario, emerging prospects, which the Rotary Club of Madras is organizing in association with the Department of Cooperation, Food and Consumer Protection, Government of Tamil Nadu. Food, clothing and shelter are the fundamental requirements of any human being. Amongst these basic requirements, food occupies priority, which all of us know, as otherwise the human being cannot survive. Apart from the right quantity of food, the quality of food also plays an important part. In this direction, the Government of Tamil Nadu and various monitoring agencies like Bureau of Indian Standards, AGMAR and consumer organizations play a major role. With the liberalization of the Indian economy and entry of multinationals, fast foods are proving popular and the entire food industry is undergoing a sea change and is becoming exciting and competitive. This has prompted us to organize this seminar aptly called Food Scenario Emerging Prospects. As all of you are aware, this food fair is the 6th food fair which the Rotary Club of Madras is conducting, and over the years these fairs are becoming useful and popular. The Food Fair 6, which is also opening today at Valluvar Kotam, lasting 4 days, has attracted record number of participants, which only goes to prove the popularity of this food fair. There will nearly be 60 stalls in this Food Fair 6, which will display to the public at Valluvar Kotam the wide variety of food articles and food-related consumer products. The monitoring agencies as well as the Institute of Hotel Management have also taken stalls to show to the public the progress achieved in their respective fields. There will be cookery demonstration as well. One more item which we have added this year is serving the public at the fair site various types of ethnic food like South Indian, Punjabi, Marwadi, Rajasthani, etc. As you all know, the food fair which the Rotary Club of Madras has been conducting every year is for raising funds for the various community service projects which the club has been undertaking for the last several years, and also for financing some new community-based projects like Boys Town at Selayur, Community Hall at Sembakam, equipment for the King's Institute, Gindi for detecting wild virus, Senior Citizens Home, Youth and Vocational Service projects. Here we would like to express our sincere thanks to Mr. M. Gopalakrishnan, Chairman Indian Bank, who is unfortunately not with us today, who has very kindly agreed to sponsor this food fair, which will go a long way in making this food fair a great success. Our thanks are also due to Mr. A.M. Swaminathan, IAS, Secretary, Department of Cooperation, Food and Consumer Protection, Government of Tamil Nadu, who is here with us today, for extending his cooperation and valuable advice for the organization of the food fair. I would also like to thank and congratulate the members of the food fair committee and fundraising committee headed by dynamic Rotarians, Rotarian D. Ramanathan, Rotarian Ravi Krishna, Rotarian M. Balaji, as well as the members of the committee who have tirelessly worked for the last 3 months in making this food fair 6 a grand success. A special thanks to Rotarian P. N. Mohan and Rotarian R. Subramaniam of Sterling Resorts Group, who have been responsible for booking 10 stalls. Thanks are also due to Rotarian Ramji Narsimhan, Rotarian M.C. Shankar, and Rotarian N. Kannan. For today's seminar, we have been able to assemble very good speakers who are experts in their respective fields. In spite of their busy schedule, these speakers have agreed to come and address the participants and share their experience and knowledge with us, for which we are grateful to them. As in the case of the previous food fair, we expect more than 1 lakh visitors for the 4 days of the fair, when they will be exposed to the wide variety of exotic food and consumer durables under one roof. I take this opportunity of inviting you, all of you, to visit the food fair 6 at Valluvar Kotam for the next 4 days. I am sure you will all be greatly benefited by attending the food fair as well as this seminar. I wish to welcome all of you once again and also thank you most heartily for responding to this invitation. Thank you.
Thank you, President Ram, for the brief and warm welcome speech and also outlining the contribution of the Rotary Club to the vocational service. I would now request our popular, ever-smiling District Governor, CSR, who has kindly agreed to preside over this seminar, as Mr. Rambhadran said, at the late request. It is only natural that the Governor comes to our rescue for the fellow clubs, unlike we witness here today. And I would now request the District Governor, CSR, to preside over and deliver his presidential address.
Rotarian President Rambhadran, Mr. Ravi Krishna, Co-Chairman, Food Fair, Ramanathan, Chairman, Food Fair Committee, Mr. A.M. Swaminathan, Secretary, Department of Food and Consumer Protection, my dear fellow Rotarians, ladies in Rotary, invitees. God, in His judgment, never fails. For the food fair, those people forgot a gastroenterologist like me and went to somebody else who deals with money and decided that it is he who should have to open it. God said, no way, because like you, He is also aware of the well-known statement that to eat is human, but to digest is divine. So I, being a gastroenterologist, God decided that I, who deal with digestion, should be the guy who should come and declare this meat open. What a wonderful situation. Of food, I know a little. Of digestion, I know a little more. So, you can ask me this question, being a doctor, how do you know about food? For one thing, I love food. I like food very much. And I like good food. And talking of food, I recall how the food has undergone an evolution from my childhood. During my childhood, early in the morning, all that we had was idli, chutney, sambar, malapadi and nallenna. What a wonderful combination it used to be. How many idlis we walloped is a different matter. That is different. That I am not going to touch upon. But this was only the breakfast that we got. But when my son was my age, when my son was school-going age, his breakfast contained cereals, fruits, nuts, eggs, and the mother sitting there anxiously looking at the son whether he would eat this mushy thing that used to be in the bowl. And she used to tell him, if you eat like this only, you will grow up well. If you eat like this only, you will become big. And one day my son turned around and asked, did my father also eat like this? How did he become this big eating idli? Why not I have idlis? So from then on, we find that there has been an evolution even in the domestic preparations that we make. I never knew about kadubus those days, nor any other varieties. we had only very minimal varieties. And when I went to England and I had to cook for myself, it became a big problem. I didn't know anything about cooking. I knew only about eating. But when I analyzed our South Indian cooking, to my great surprise, I found that it is very simple. I analyzed it like this. Modalla thalicha kara kodambu, kadesiya thalicha sambar. It is true. You think about it. I analyzed it like that. The basic tastes are 3 tastes. So those 3 tastes will have to be there. My only problem was how much salt to add. That was my only problem. The other things I got it very easily. The same way, if you chop up cabbage, vaanalila pottu vadiki thalichu kotti konjam thenga potta adu poriyal. Adhiye konjam kadalaiya sethu konjam thanni oothi vega vecha adu koottu. You know, this is how I learned cooking. And to my great surprise, I found that simple things when we make, it gives rise to such tasty dishes, and it gives rise to such nutritious dishes also. And that is when I was exposed to the so-called fast food. The fast food is an industry which is very much developed in foreign countries than what it is here today. Of course, we are catching up very fast, I should have to say. But then at that time, in the 70s, when I was in England, it was wonderful. You know, you can get varieties of these fast foods, and they were quite nutritious. We were told, don't go for these fast foods, they are not very nutritious, and they put all sorts of coloring matter into it, and it is dangerous. But practically I found that these fast foods were a blessing for fellows like me who were living alone, and you know, we were working round the clock, and we don't have time to cook for ourselves. Fast food was a necessity. So, for nutrition, food is a necessity. It became necessary that we should have to get methodology which would give us food which can be very easily prepared, and people would not waste much time in preparing these dishes. South Indian dishes take a long time to prepare. Some of these very nice dishes, you know, it takes half the time for us to grind the masala and get it going and all that. But that is where the fast food industry came in, I should have to say. Now, talking about the fast food, I find that right now, the scenario in India, I don't think we are second to anyone in the world now as far as this fast food departments are concerned, or prepared food departments are concerned. As a matter of fact, we, for this conference, were also thinking whether we should have to hand it over to some industrial food producer who can do the cooking for us. We could not have thought of this about 5 years back. 5 years back, we would only have to have this typical type of an adupu and, you know, huge big andas and all that. But now, the fuel system, the cooking system, the furnace, the utensils that you use, all these things have undergone a change. What is surprising is that the food has become better because you get copper-bottomed vessels and non-stick pans and that kind of a thing. So cooking has become very much easier, not only at home, but at the industrial level also, it has picked up. Even biscuits. Those days, British biscuits were they were at the top in the world. But today, Indian biscuits, I'm not saying that because you are here, sir, but anyway, I'm telling you this, but Indian biscuits are comparable to any other biscuits anywhere. When some of our visitors come here, when I give them the ordinary bread that is baked here, they are very surprised. They say this bread is so good. How did these people get the technology of baking this bread so well, even with very little apparatus or whatever is required for it? So, India is second to none in this food production. They are catching up very fast, and it is becoming an industry. As a matter of fact, sometimes when I have to work hard day in and day out, sometimes I think, why did I ever become a surgeon? If only I had learned cooking, I could have started a cooking industry and I could be making good for myself. No, that is only on the light.